The second half of Season 7 of the Suncorp Super Netball begins, and the pressure arrives for the sides occupying the bottom two positions on the table. The Firebirds gave up a 9-goal lead against the Vixens on the road, but they'll be hoping a return to Nissan Arena gives them the confidence they showed in their first win of the season here 2 weeks ago. Equally as desperate, the Collingwood Magpies, who have lost 3 straight after a strong start to the season. They're seeing their finals hopes slowly slip away. But they love playing the Firebirds. They've won 5 straight against the Queenslanders, and they'll be looking to do so again here today. Kira Tromp alongside in commentary. Let's get to the Woolworths team cards, Kira, and the Magpies with a massive inclusion. Their co-captain returns.
Yeah, absolutely. Ash Brazel comes on court to start in the wing defence. Having an illness last week and not travelling to Adelaide, the Magpies will be very pleased to have her back on court. Also 100 games to Kelsey Brown in wing attack and Jodie Ann Ward 50 at goal defence. So a very strong lineup for the Magpies.
Ash Brazel said they are up and about and ready to go today, and why wouldn't they be? An inclusion round, but also those 2 milestones for Brown and Jodie Ann Ward. And a bench with the likes of Kelly Singleton, who can sink some Suncorp super shots, looking to have an impact. Shimona Nelson has had a great season so far. And Ash Brazel returning the captain. She spoke this week on the 4th quarter about how important this match is for her. It's the 3rd annual Pride match between these two sides. First time it's part of the wider inclusion round here in the Suncorp Super Netball. And the Firebirds, the big news for them is that Maisie Gardner, who's been so brilliant to start this season, especially in the last few weeks, she drops out after fracturing her wrist in that defeat to the Vixens last week. And that means there's a change in the starting side, Kira.
Yeah, so we see the reshuffle of the starting line with the captain, Kim Revellion, stepping into centre and Halita Veve stepping on court, into the bench position. A captain of the Tongan netball team. She was a premiership player for the Firebirds in 2016, so plenty of experience. And it'll be interesting to see whether Beck Bully brings her on court today. She brings a lot of firepower and impact.
Yeah, so Veve on the bench. She was coached by Macy Gardner's mum in that premiership winning side back in 2016, and now she replaces her daughter in this side. As we're underway here, the 3rd annual Pride match between the Firebirds and the Magpies here in inclusion round. And Danelle Wallam gets the Firebirds off to the perfect start.
Beautiful starting position there from Danelle Wallam, and the feed came in from Lara Dunkley, really nice and early.
Now, this was an issue for the Magpies, especially in the first quarter last week. They really struggled to get going and turn those centre passes into goals, and they've done it on the first attempt, and that will please Nicole Richardson.
Coming through the back line here for the Firebirds, just held up, bit of a box defence set up, but opens up through the middle for Danelle Wallam, and Lara Dunkley's found her there under the post.
They don't have a problem with scoring, do they, the Firebirds? 3rd best attack in the competition, defensively though the worst, and this is where they're going to have to tighten up if they want to make the finals. As Ruby Bakewell-Doran says, they still believe. Shimona Nelson can't handle it, and that is going to give their defence a massive boost there.
Beautiful body position as we see a touch out of court, and it's going to go back to the Firebirds. There's a bit of confusion there, but beautiful body work from Remy Camo just to roll around the outside of Shimona Nelson and stay in play, pick up that loose ball.
Revellion across to Dunkley. And now Simpson returning to the starting side for the first time in a couple of matches. Dunkley, Wallam asking for it over the top and just falling out of play. And we've seen her do that already this season. Danelle Wallam, she's just warming up.
If that's any sign of what the Firebirds have to come, it'll make their fans very happy to see a Danelle Wallam on fire.
Well, it's an intriguing battle, isn't it? Mentor v Wallam. Wallam only has a 2-centimetre advantage. Did get a touch there. Mentor, and from behind,
Jiva Mentor's been in fantastic form. Last week, Nissan net points 108, topped the team. Beautiful intercept work from her, so it'll be a really great matchup with her on Janelle today.
Well, they outplayed the best defensive side in the competition, you could say. More Nissan net points for Mentor and Ward compared to Sterling and Garrett and also Wilson on average. So that's got to give them confidence, but this is the issue where Collingwood had problems last week. Shimona Nelson again. The Firebirds are able to pinch it back, and the ghosts of last week are beginning to haunt the Magpies again in the first quarter here.
The slow start last week against the Thunderbirds really hurt the Magpies, and they would be hoping that they weren't going to have a repeat performance. But so far, sitting at 4-1, it's not the greatest of starts for the Magpies.
And Wallen pushes the advantage out to 4.
We know that Nicole Richardson calls the most timeouts in the competition. It'll be interesting to see how long she lets this lead get out before she calls a timeout.
Well, that was a dangerous pass, wasn't it? Putting it up high, easy for Mentor. And the Magpies now with the chance to hit back.
You certainly don't want to give the likes of Jiva Mentor any confidence, as we see a loose ball there. Sophie Garvin just dropped that ball, and it was a pick up there from the Firebirds.
Oh, there's touches everywhere. Sharon Finn-White, you've spotted something about the Firebirds' defence. What's impressed you?
Oh, yeah, Ben, we talked about Karma and what she needed to do to get on top of Nelson, and she's doing exactly that. She's confusing the space, she's moving her body around, and the feeders really are having trouble finding her under the post. So she's doing a great job.
So too up the other end, Danelle Wallam. 5-goal lead.
A stat we just saw, Ben, on the screen was that the Firebirds are sitting at 4-0 in the pickups, which means they're really in the game, they're on their players, and they're available and ready to pick up any loose balls. So important to start a match.
And Nelson finally gets one to drop. So last week against the Thunderbirds, just 7 goals in that first quarter. They can't afford that here. They lost that first quarter by 7, and in the end, it was close to the difference in the match. Firebirds, though, have had an opposite issue last week. Had that 9-goal advantage against the Vixens in the third quarter and let that slip. So two sides looking to gain some confidence here. Sitting at the bottom of the table is Danelle Wallam. She is certainly not lacking any confidence. She's part of that Diamond squad that's been named, the extended squad for the World Cup. Jovic up to Nelson.
And with the coach, Stacey Marankovic, in the crowd, you always want to put your best foot forward in terms of a performance in front of your Australian coach.
Does that affect you?
Well, I could see Sophie Garvin warming up in front of the glass doors of the Champions Room here at Nissan Arena, and her coach, Diamond's coach, was sitting behind the glass. So nothing like a bit of pressure in your warm-up.
Dunkley. Bankroll Doran returns it to Dunkley. Revaliant finding more. Dummy to Wallam and then found Dunkley. Emily Moore wants to get a little closer.
Gosh, really flirting with that play back there twice. Dirty Ann Ward, the 50 game, and nearly got a hand and touch on that one.
Jovic finds Brown in game number 100, up to Garvin. A lot of talk this week about Sophie Garvin. She's down on form this season, especially in the last couple of matches. Looking to turn that around today.
We heard Ash Brazel talk about in the warm-up that it's a full team effort, and that, you know, Sophie may have given up the ball, but did she have anyone to pass to? So a really, you know, interesting insight into the thoughts of the team.
Revaliant finding more. Wallam trying to get herself in position. She was just outside the circle, so Moore wasn't able to feed.
Jiva just working her feet around there. She can feel Danelle Wallam on her back, but it's given up the contact there, trying to get around the body.
And Emily Moore can't get it to drop.
Goal defence out of play.
having a few jitters. Wallum is having no such issues. 7 from 7. Firebirds keeping a hold of this 5-goal advantage.
So strong with their offensive rebounds there. With Janelle Wallum under the post, Emily Moore's got all the confidence in the world just to put it up. She knows Janelle's going to pull that rebound in.
Jovic and Garvin to Nelson. She's also got that height advantage. Nelson up above Bakewell, Dora, and also Carmo. It's quite more substantial than what Wallum has against Mentor.
Great pull in there from Lara Dunkley.
And Dunkley quickly sights Wallum, finds her, and they are about to go into double figures, and they do.
It's one area of Lara Dunkley's game she's really improved in the last 3 or 4 rounds. She's turning and letting the ball go really early and with great confidence.
Garvin onto Brown, finding Nelson, knowing that she's got that height advantage. Brown happy to go the aerial route.
Likewise, Kelsey Brown in her 100th game, another really strong. Oh, she's just on the ground there. You can't take the ball possession on the floor. So an easy pick up there for the Magpies as Kelsey Brown in her 100th game. An elite feeder of the ball. If there's an inch of space for Shimona Nelson, Kelsey Brown will find it.
Well, maybe this is just the turning point the Magpies needed. They've got the next centre pass. Sharon, you've got a comment on Jodie Ann Ward.
Yeah, Nicole Richardson, Magpies coach, was up in the coach's box just giving some instructions to Jodie Ann, basically telling her that she's dropping back onto Janelle Wallum too soon and just giving a little bit too much freedom to Emily Moore, which we saw really brought her into the game. But I must say, it was working back, having that double defence on Janelle, but they just need to be careful that they don't give too much room to Emily because she can be pretty deadly if she has that space.
Interestingly, in the round 4 game, Sharon, I thought Jodie Ann Ward had almost a quiet start to that game, but then came right into it towards the second half of the game. So a slow start doesn't always mean that Jodie Ann Ward might not turn it on as the game progresses.
Another turnover there from the Firebirds. They may yet have it back. Across the sideline though, so it will be Magpies possession. Yeah, Jodie Ann Ward, she is having a brilliant season. The 2 Jamaicans have been excellent for the Magpies. Jodie Ann Ward, 22 Nissan net points above her career average this season. Shimona Nelson, almost 25. So both in some good form, which will please the Jamaican fans heading into the World Cup after that silver medal at the Com Games last year. There's Jovic up to Brown. Just was able to reach and grab it. And there's a tuck from Carmo. She gets the penalty given against her, though, much to the displeasure of the home fans.
As we hear the super shot siren go, so we're looking to go for those 2s.
What did you think, Kira? A tough call there against the home side. Here it was.
Absolutely, on the Harvey Norman replay, that was an unlucky one for Remy Carmo. Good body position, up nice and straight.
And as quickly as that, the Magpies are back to 10 apiece. Firebirds go up by 1 again, but it was 10-5.
An impressive fight back from the Magpies. They're certainly a quality team, and that's the Firebirds, and needing to keep them down, make sure when they've got the opportunities, they go to post and score.
Jovic, Garvin. Does Garvin go for the super shot? She doesn't.
Quick look at the scoreboard there from Sophie Garvin, almost as if she was checking the time.
Maybe just thinking 4 minutes out. We're only behind by 1. Let's just play it conservative.
Gosh, the battle in that circle, Ben, sorry to interrupt you. It's intriguing with Janelle Wallum and G Mentor. They're almost leaning on each other.
Well, Mentor almost with a rejection there. You sense she's not going to be far away from that with that height she's got. Not a whole lot shorter than Janelle Wallum. And the ball, well, we're going to have time called here because the ball has just trickled down the other end of the court. No one wanted to grab it. And now Brown. Here is Garvin, Jovic. Garvin from out wide. She decides to find Nelson. And we're back to a dozen apiece here. You expected it to be tight. Kira Tromp predicted we're going into extra time.
Absolutely.
In the pre-game show.
That's it. close one. I think these teams match up so well on each other. Beautiful two-point shot there from Emily Moore.
Just the technique was exemplary, wasn't it, from Emily Moore?
Really
Gets the home fans excited.
Really high release from her, and just a really strong and confident effort to go to the post after shooting at 50% throughout the rest of the quarter, to still turn and go to post. Impressive.
The Magpies resisting the urge, though, to go for their own super shot. Both sides coming into this one, 33 successful super shots for the season. But it's the Firebirds who are going for them, and Wallam couldn't get it to drop.
Interestingly, it was Kelly Singleton. As we see a turnover there, the Firebirds will get another chance. Kelly Singleton came on in the last quarter and shot 4 out of 5 for the Magpies last week. So very impressive from her.
So we're just going to need
Can you just show him where,
the court mop. And he's a very popular court mop, getting it all sorted.
Even got their own uniforms, the Sadco mop guys from the Firebirds.
And Wallam, well, that was overcooked massively by Revaliant. A few too many wheat bix there looking for Wallam. So the Magpies with a chance to respond.
She's a real competitor, Kim Revaliant. She'll be hunting this ball back. She wasn't happy with that turnover.
You just expected this, a match where both sides would turn over the ball a bit.
Just that inside arm there from Gabby Simpson. She's in the right position, just needs to use that outside arm as she gives up the contact penalty there.
Inside the final 2 minutes here in the first quarter. Two sides desperate for a win. The Magpies have lost 3 straight. The Firebirds just 1 win this season. And Nelson brings us back to 14 apiece. Remembering the Firebirds, they had a 5-goal advantage early on in this match. Again, pulled back. It was 9 last week. They led in the third quarter against the Vixens. That was the biggest lead of the match as Brown finds Nelson. And the Magpies, they are going to lead for the first time.
We've really seen the improvement over this quarter of Kelsey Brown and Sophie Garb, their involvement in the game has really lifted in the second half of this first quarter.
Wallam there under the post. 1 minute remains here. So what's the decision here from Collingwood? Do they try and retain possession for as long as possible and go for the Suncorp super shot? Maybe that is the option here.
Deny the Firebirds a centre pass, Ben, and finish off with a super shot would be the perfect way to finish this first quarter from the Magpies.
They've chewed off about 23 seconds from the centre pass. Here's a problem, a massive problem. That's what happens if you try and retain possession. It can come unstuck. And now it's advantage Firebirds.
Ruby Bakewell-Doran, she read that ball and she got out there for it.
Emily Moore, we've already seen one today. It just wouldn't drop it. Wallam unable to drop it back in. She was out of court. And we've got 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Can the Magpies find a goal that will put them in front? No, they can't. And that will likely be it in this first quarter. We expected it to be tight. The two sides sitting at the bottom of the table, desperate for a win. It's 15 apiece at quarter time. We'll be back after the break with more here on Fox Netball.
Welcome back to Fox Netball. We're at Nissan Arena where the scores are locked at 15-all in our Origin Energy quarter-time break. Scores are locked, but ladies and gentlemen, look who I have found in the crowd at Nissan Arena. It's cricketing superstar Beth Mooney. Now, Beth, we're used to seeing you out on the cricket pitch, tearing it up in Australia and overseas, but we're here at the netball, so I have to know, did you play any netty growing up?
Not particularly. I played a bit in school with, PE and stuff, and the PE teacher used to harass me to sign up for the school team, but so much cricket took me away from the sport, unfortunately, but here I am watching.
At least you're a fan, and that's what we love, because you're doing us proud right around the world. Unfortunately, you had to come home early from India when you were playing over there. How's the calf going?
Yeah, all good. Well, I was back at training this week, so we're all systems go for the Ashes coming up, which is really exciting. Hopefully no more calf tears anytime soon, because it's no good being on the sideline, as I'm sure these girls know.
Okay, 15 all. Who's going to win?
I'm a Firebirds fan, so I'm backing them to get just over the line.
Let's see how it goes. Beth Mooney, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Hannah. Cheers.
Thanks to Hannah and Beth. What a legend. Beth Mooney from the Aussie women's cricket team. Cannot wait to see them in the Ashes. And a big Firebirds fan and hoping that they can go on with the job here. 15 goals apiece at quarter time. Cannot be much tighter. And they're going to begin this second quarter like they began the first here at Tron.
Cannot split these two teams. If you look at the stats, almost identical to start the game. I thought the Firebirds had the run of the first half of the quarter, but then the Magpies came back really strongly to even it up there.
Oh, how about that from Shimona Nelson. Wonderful strength. And brings us back level once again. She's happy with the service. Simpson springs onto the ball. Revaliant. And here's Dunkley. Wallum trying to find some space. Opts for Revaliant. Just struggling for an option. And now the captain. They just can't quite find Wallum. They're a little bit concerned about Jiva Mentor.
Really looking for the one-on-one there with the Firebirds. Once Emily Moore left the circle, it opened up the space. Jodie Ann Ward followed Emily Moore out, and then the feed came into Danelle.
Garvin, here's Jovic, up to Nelson. And you can just see the difference. The Collingwood feeders have much more confidence with that aerial route to Shimona Nelson than the Firebirds have at the moment because of that height difference.
I heard Beck Billy speak to her defenders during that quarter-time break just about their intensity and their one-on-one defence outside the circle. She identifies they need to slow that down.
And Wallum just able to retain it and finish from mid-range. But I just wonder, Kira, how much is that going to fatigue Danelle Wallum? The fact that Jiva Mentor is right up for that battle every time the ball comes in.
One of only two players in the Firebirds to play every 420 minutes of the season so far. Look, she's shown that she's a competitor and that she will go till the very end.
Well, Sharon Finnan-White was listening in to what Nicole Richardson had to say at quarter time. Sharon, what did you hear?
Well, Ben, as expected, she was pretty happy with how they were able to claw their way back to even after that slow start. She had a one-on-one chat with Ash Brazel about her positioning on Lara Dunkley. She wants her to start a little bit more in front and contest from in front rather than behind. And again, just reiterated to Jodie Ann Ward that she wants her one-on-one on Emily Moore, you know, right up until it sort of hits the top of the circle. Then she's happy for her to drop back onto that double defence.
Thanks, Sharon. Magpies going goal for goal here in this second quarter. 19 apiece. It's been this way, it's been this tight since they clawed back that 5-goal lead. The Firebirds had another mid-range shot from Danelle Wallum.
This sustained defensive pressure from the Queensland Firebirds is what they need to bring back. That first 5 minutes of the first quarter, they stuck to their game plan. They didn't give up penalties. They worked strongly as a unit. At the moment, the Magpies seem to have a lot of free space. They're getting circle edge and the feed's going in easily to Shimona Nelson under the post.
Pretty simple stuff. Efficient from both sides, from the centre pass. That's what the coaches will want to see because so far this season, Magpies second worst centre pass to goal. And the Firebirds fifth, and as soon as I say that, just an overpowered pass. Wallum went crashing into the post, and now the Magpies have the advantage. Can they take it in this second quarter? Well, there's the answer. And then the blood rushes to the head, Kira. You spoke about it in the pre-game show. Get a turnover. And then an errant pass straight away from Gabby Simpson.
That just highlights that, you know, in the Harvey Norman replay there, we see the great pick up from Gabby Simpson, but just not the ability to take herself out of that moment and release the ball to a player. She was an extension and falling out of court, so it was a difficult one to try and win, but it's one of those areas where the Firebirds will really want to improve on if they're going to get ahead in this game and keep themselves ahead in the game.
So Magpies' biggest lead of this match so far, 1 goal. This would be their biggest if Shimona Nelson can get the job done here. And she does just that.
Kelsey Brown is getting her hands on a lot of ball to start this second quarter and finding those pockets really easily. Gabby Simpson may need to mix up her defensive pressure, start to push high, keep her out of that feeding zone because she is key to the Magpies winning today.
Rebellion finds more. Short pass onto Wallam, and Wallam can't get it to drop. Moore can though.
As we just see here on the centre pass, just so much space for Kelsey Brown. She is elite at finding the shooters under the post. Just too much respect probably given there, and she really needs to be almost a 2-on-1 on Kelsey Brown on any centre pass.
Magpies love playing against the Firebirds. They've won 5 straight matches, and they've only lost once here at Nissan Arena in the 5 previous meetings between these two. 3-1 they lead the head-to-heads at this venue. So it's usually an enjoyable experience. And so far, they've got themselves in front after being behind by 5, but the Firebirds are not going anywhere. Just confirmation, Jodie Ann Ward out of the game for the moment. Jackie Newton gets a chance. Not too many opportunities this season for Newton, just her 4th appearance on court. All of those from the bench. So it'd be intriguing just to know Nicole Richardson's thinking, especially considering the coach that takes the most HCF tactical timeouts hasn't called one yet.
I'm blown away, to be honest. There hasn't been a single timeout call, and I was looking forward to listening to Nick Richardson in her quarter time or halftime huddle now. We may see one. We did see the introduction of Jackie Newton last week against the Thunderbirds. She was able to turn over some really strong ball, a little bit more height there. We may see a 3-way switch with Brazel maybe moving out and Jodie Ann Ward coming on wing defence. We'll have to see what happens there.
Magpies retaining this 2-goal margin. Simpson finds Bakewell Doran and Dunkley. Moore and Rebellion to Wallam. Edging out Mentor again. And Danelle Wallam, 18 from 19, 95%. Shimona Nelson at 96% shooting accuracy.
Really nice depth there on the second phase from Sophie Garvin. She got really deep in the goal circle, third, which gave that feed into Shimona Nelson. So much extra height.
Dunkley almost coat-hangered there by Mentor. Got it quickly onto Wallam.
She saw it, but she just couldn't get there in time and just pulled out at the last second.
Well, Sophie Garvin, that's going to help her.
As we see there
points
on the goal assist, Sophie Garvin sitting up at 9. It's a great pick up there from the Firebirds.
And this is their chance now to get us back level once again. Inseparable, these two sides. And if the Firebirds win, they'll be inseparable on the ladder as well. Rebellion, Wallam. Again, good strength up above Mentor. Maybe a rehearsal for the World Cup later on this year. Wallam v Mentor.
She's definitely a strong target under there, Danelle Wallam. She took a heavy hit against the goalpost, but she's come back as we see her first time out of the game.
And you guessed it, it's Nicole Richardson with the HCF tactical timeout. Now, every netball nerd loves listening to Nick Richardson and what she has to say, so get yourself ready for this.
Good job. First off all, well done attacking in playing. We spoke about same side, working it in. You've got good balance between your chip, right, and our long court game. Well done, good job on the feet. Let's change up structurally, defensively, right? So I'd go throw in a couple of boxes, yeah? So not too early, but I still want you to sink back, yeah? So go up to start, behind. Molly, you're going with Jack, give him a bit of pressure. Then Jack, you're coming back in. I don't want you to go all the way in, but back in with an angle to play back on G. I want you two to sit it a bit higher. We don't want them to drive in on top of us.
I reckon what's happening,
we want them to go
calling
past
it,
us.
and we're jumping, and we're going, and then let's jump, so then we're far, let them through, now we're in an area.
So jump, let them through, go through you because they're driving in on top of us. We want to get this ball off circle edge. Yep, okay, let's go.
Really interesting there from Nicole Richardson, really direct messaging around the defensive box. So they're going to let them jump over the centre pass, receive the ball, and then almost suck them into the belief that that middle area of the court is open, and they're going to come off and pick off the ball. Really interesting to see that they're able to make defensive changes on the fly during the game. It shows a really strong rehearsed combination for that defensive unit.
And a side packed full of internationals. 6 in the squad in total.
Here we'll see it, Ben, as it unfolds off the centre pass. They jump across the line and then they leave that little space there in the middle and they sit off the body and wait for someone to come in. But as you see, it opens up under the post for Danelle. Smart feed from Gabby Simpson.
Well, intriguing to watch this. Little change defensively from Nicole Richardson. You saw it there. And Garvin finding Jovic, and Nelson just stays in court, able to find Brown. And Garvin onto Shimona Nelson. And the Magpies back at 28 apiece. What a match we have in front of us here. Desperation battle between the Magpies and the Firebirds. Emily Moore realised we're not in the Power 5 and goes to Wallam. And Sharon, you were listening in to what Beck Bully had to say. What did you hear from the Firebirds coach?
Yeah, Ben, she had a quiet word to Remy Carmo. She wants her to start more in front on Shimona Nelson and just keep that front position. More hands over from everyone. She thinks that they're standing a little bit off, a little bit closer to 3 feet hands over, and just that hard one-on-one, which what we saw in that first 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Thanks, Sharon. So we're into the Power 5. But how desperate are these two sides for a Suncorp super shot when a match is so tight? Any little mistake and you can hand a big advantage to your opposition.
Here's an advantage with Ruby Bakewell-Doran out of play, out of the circle. Sophie Garvin for her first super shot of the game.
Well, this would be huge for Garvin, and it drains, and the Magpies, they're back in front. How do the Firebirds respond now?
You can see the confidence in Sophie, that smile on her face as she ran away from that shot.
Revalian had to get rid of it quickly. Danelle Wallam to return fire.
No better way to fight fire with fire there, and coming with her own super shot. Never looked like missing.
So another one for the season for Danelle. That's 19 in the 2023 season.
Unlucky contact call there, I thought, against the Firebirds. Sophie Garvin almost ran into the back of Kim Revalian.
So Jodie-Ann Ward back out there. And Garvin's finding Nelson. Bakewell-Doran having to stand aside. 32 all.
As we see how Jodie-Ann Ward will fit into this defensive structure. Sitting off the body in the space, hedging, and then coming off and having a crack.
And almost causing the pass to be overcooked to Wallam, but she's able to find the layup and find the Firebirds a goal which puts them in front.
In line with me. Wing defense come up.
And you could just see Mentor there on the Harvey Norman replay off the body, just allowed that space for Wallam, but the pass almost overcooked. Nelson does the business down the other end. And we've got 3 minutes left in this first half.
They'll be looking for an intercept here, the Magpies. They've been building this pressure in this box defence now for about 4 minutes.
Simpson, Revalian, Dunkley onto Moore. Brazel goes sprawling to the floor.
Wow, I would have called that the other way. I thought Lara Dunkley really just took on and ran into Ash Brazel on that one.
Back from illness this week, Ash Brazel. Well, she couldn't disappear, could she?
Absolutely not. Almost a charge, I'd say, in basketball. Beautiful take there from Danelle Wallam. She puts the ball down for Emily Moore, showing great confidence in her young goal attack.
Well, watch the technique here, Emily Moore. Well, she Opts for Wallam, who returns it to Moore. Who's it going to be? Wallam back to Moore. Emily Moore deciding that they want to take some time off the clock. In the end, they just want to settle for one. That was quite intriguing. I don't know what it was all about. Kira, do you know?
No, initially I thought they were going for better position, you know, super shot from the top of the circle, but no, it looked as though they were wasting time.
I was having a look at the clock. I thought we were in the last 30 seconds, but still two minutes remaining now.
Remy Carmo is doing everything she can to unsettle Shimona Nelson, but so much body strength from Shimona Nelson. She's hard to move from that position halfway up through the goal circle there.
So 34 apiece, 15 all in the first quarter, 19 all so far in the second with 90 seconds remaining. And one of these two sides edge themselves in front.
Really flirting with the 3-second call here, the Queensland Firebirds. Emily Moore stuck at the top of the circle, not able to get in as a contact's given up there by the centre court players of the Magpies.
Wallam asks for it over the top. So, the Magpies have a decision to make here. Oh, big fall from Bakewell Doran. He gets back and Garvin shaping up for a Suncorp super shot. She's dropped another one. 2 from 2, Sophie Garvin.
Quick chance here for the Firebirds with only 45 seconds to go. Can they be composed?
This is a big test, isn't it? Big test of composure, as Kira said. So, behind by 1.
These are the key moments, Ben.
They find Wallam, who jumps into the Suncorp super shot zone, and it doesn't drop. So advantage here for the Magpies. Can they push this out to 2 or maybe 3 at half-time?
All about transition defence now for the Firebirds. They want to hold this out and not give them an opportunity.
Garvin on to Brown. Garvin making herself free. They find Nelson, and that will drain the clock, and it will be the Magpies who are going to lead it at half-time by 2 goals. It was right at the death. They were able to snatch that advantage after Wallam went for the super shot. And the visitors who have won their last 5 against the Firebirds, leading here at Nissan Arena in the first match of the 3rd Pride round between these two sides, the first inclusion round in the Suncorp Super Netball. We're going to get some reaction with Sharon Finnan-White.
Thanks, Ben. I have Kelsey Brown here with me. Firstly, Kelsey, congrats on 100 Super Netball games. How's it feel out there?
Yeah, it's exciting out there at the moment. I feel like both teams have brought the energy. It's quite intense, and it'll just be if we can hold that out in the next half.
Bit of a slow start from the Magpies in the first quarter, and then you managed to claw your way back to even. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, it's been a bit of an issue for us, but we've been trying to address it. I think just going back to our structures and basics, we had a real intention at the start of the game to stick to what we know and don't go away from our A game, and I think we've done that today.
A crucial win for both teams today. What have you been working on at training this week?
Ours has been all around decision-making and execution. We've been saying that for weeks on end, and I think, yeah, if we can get that together, I think we're going to be a really strong team, but it's been hard to come by.
Just finally, what do you think Coach Richardson's message will be at half-time?
I think she'll be pretty happy with what we've put out there, but it'll be put the foot down now. Let's not let them get back in, and let's not make any errors.
Awesome. Well, good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
Well, in her 100th match in the Suncorp Super Netball, Kelsey Brown's team in front by 2. The halftime show with Hannah Hollis and the team coming up after the break. But do not forget, straight after this match on Fox Netball, it's the Giants and the Thunderbirds. Do not miss it.
Welcome back to Fox Netball, where we are at Nissan Arena in our third annual Pride match for the very first inclusion round of Suncorp Super Netball. The Firebirds and the Magpies have placed 7th and 8th on the ladder, but don't tell them that, because ever since the centre pass, they have been trading blows as we've had a seesawing game. Each team playing with energy and urgency to revive their season. The scores were locked at 15 all at the first quarter. the Magpies take a narrow but 2-goal lead into halftime, 35-37, as we welcome in Sharon Finnan-White and Kira Tromp. Ladies, when we think about what we enjoyed about that first half, what comes to mind, Kira?
Look, the intensity that both teams started with. I thought the Firebirds had the edge for the first 7 or 8 minutes, but the Magpies were able to adjust, and they were able to do that without the timeout call. They did it themselves, and they pulled the score back to 15-all. That second quarter was high scoring. And there weren't as many gains to be had in the second quarter, but I think the key moments were won by the Magpies to finish the quarter.
Sharon, what comes to mind on the sideline?
Look, for me, it was just the urgency. We know how important this match is for both teams, so you could just see that urgency out there. Firebirds started really strong, but yeah, Magpies have just clawed their way back from some really hard work.
Firebirds got out to a 5-goal lead in the early moments of the game, and we thought maybe the Magpies are doing a repeat of what we saw last week. Ladies, let's take a look at the match summary as it stands at halftime. Just the 2-goal difference, but Kira, when you make your way through the numbers, not a whole lot of difference, is there?
Well, for mine, Hannah, I'll point out the turnovers. These two teams turn over the ball the most in the competition, usually sitting at around 25 per game. So for both teams to only have under 10 is a huge improvement, particularly the Magpies sitting at 7. That's really efficient with the ball.
Sharon?
Yeah, for me, it's the shooting statistics. I think, like, Danelle Wallen would probably be a little bit disappointed with her stats at the moment. We're used to seeing her just slotting them in, without a miss. So I think Shimona Nelson's really standing up in that area. But yeah, I'm really impressed actually with what Emily Moore's been able to do. She's really standing up.
Let's look at the Magpies' attack. As I mentioned, they managed to claw back a 5-goal deficit in the early moments of the game. Sophie Garvin, Shimona Nelson standing up after they've shouldered a lot of criticism this season. Kira.
Absolutely. Sophie Garvin probably had a slow start. She gave up the ball in the first centre pass of the game, and I thought, here we go, but she was able to turn it around. She's had 17 feeds. I've loved the depth that Sophie Garvin's had on her second phase. It's really opening up space for Kelsey Brown, and she's really come into the game. She's orchestrating this forward line, and Sophie Garvin has been a partner in that this afternoon.
Yeah, Jovic and Brown for me have been really good, really solid, but they just know each other's game so well. It just looks so clinical, doesn't it?
Kelsey Brown in her 100th National League match, linking really well with Sophie Garvin, and we saw that relationship develop in the second quarter. What about the Firebirds' defence? We spoke to Ruby Bakewell-Doran in the pre-game. She's got the bubble braids alongside Remy Kamo. Your assessment of the first half?
Yeah, I thought they got good body position and they got plenty of turnover ball. I think the problem at the moment for the Firebirds is just that release of the defensive work by the contact or obstructions on the outside of the circle. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Veve take the court in wing defence. I think Gabby Simpson wasn't able to shut down Kelsey Brown and was also giving up penalties. There were some great pickups from Ruby Bakewell-Doran, though. She was outstanding.
The last time these two teams met, it was all the way back in round 4. Ladies, so much has changed for both clubs as we arrive now in round 8. But one thing that's continuing, Sharon, it's the battle between Jiva Mentor and Danelle Wallen in that circle, isn't it? From the first centre pass, they were muscling each other, testing each other out, and that's continued.
Absolutely, Hannah. Look, just watching Jiva Mentor last week, I knew she would be here today and means business. She knows that it would have been a tough task against Wallen, but she's doing a fantastic job on her. The one-on-one body on is really forcing Danelle off her mark, and if she can just withhold that pressure from Jiva and just stand and not be pushed off her mark, I think we'll see a bit of an improvement in the second half.
The Magpies have a narrow, but it's something lead into the halftime, just 2 goals the difference. We know both sides have got pretty inconsistent second halves in them. How does this one play out as the team prepares to come back onto court, Kira?
I think it's how both teams come out of the halftime break. We know both the teams haven't had a consistent 2023, so the challenge will be, if there are changes made, who seamlessly gets back on course and follows the game plan as quickly as possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be a matter of going to the bench if they want to change things up and just throw in that element of surprise just to, see what can happen. Richo, I guess, she's got Singleton there on the bench that we saw her come on last week and did a fairly decent job. So, we'll just wait to see what the coaches are going to throw out there.
Well, we know everyone at the stadium here at Nissan Arena, netball is important to them, but Suncorp would like to know what netball means to you. It's a competition all thanks to Suncorp. They want to submit your entry in 50 words or less, alongside a video or image of you or your club, and you can head to foxsports.com.au/Suncorp or simply scan the QR code on your screen for your chance to win a family membership to the Suncorp Super Netball Club of your choice in the 2024 season. Here is Elise Grady's entry. Now, she played netball on a Saturday at Wyong and then went to the New South Wales Derby in Sydney on the weekend, and she watched the Swifts and the Giants play. And here she is with Lauren Moore, who also played at Wyong as a junior. All right, ladies, the scores are locked. No, they're not locked. The Magpies have a 2-goal margin going into the third quarter. Kira thinks we're going to overtime. Let's see how the second half unfolds. It's live and exclusive on Fox Netball.
Welcome back to Nissan Arena here in Brisbane. The Queensland Firebirds looking for back-to-back wins at home for the first time since 2021, but they're down at half-time against a Magpies side who have won their last 5 against the Firebirds. And Halita Veve has taken the court, the Tongan captain brought in this week as an injury replacement for Macy Gardner. So we'll see what impact she can make at centre up against Molly Jovic. And the Magpies get the chance here right from the outset of the third quarter to increase this advantage to a game-high 3 goals for them. And Shimona Nelson shooting at 97% continues that.
As we see Halita Veve take her first centre pass back in the Firebirds colours. A proud moment for her family and friends as they watch on.
And turned over from the Firebirds, which isn't a great time to go to Beck Bully, but we'll go to the Firebirds. Coach will be more pleased with that, Beck. Now your side's got possession back. Tell us, what were you most impressed with across that first half?
Our attack was going a great job. We were scoring quite easily. We just needed to pick up our defence a little bit. We just unfortunately weren't turning over quite enough ball. But, you know, hopefully with going right back into wing defence and bringing Halita on, hopefully that can add a little bit more pressure.
Yeah, talk us through that change there, Beck. You've brought on Halita into centre and swung Kim back into the wing defence, something we're used to seeing. Talk us through that change. Yeah,
Rav just does a great job one-on-one, and obviously Halita is very calm and composed in attack. She obviously came off the Pacific Oz tournament where she captained Tonga to a victory. She's used to playing against that zone defence, so I thought she might be a good option for us as well.
We've got Macy Gardner sitting alongside you. She's got the pen and paper in hand. What's she up to for you this afternoon?
Yeah, she's just taking a bit of a stat for us, just a bit of a pressure gauge. We're obviously really devastated for her not to be out there, but she's still very much an important part of this team, and she really wants to contribute to the success of the girls on court as well.
Beck, just a final one from us. I notice you're very hands-on in the warm-up compared to most other coaches. Why do you find that so crucial?
Just based on numbers, I guess. The defenders like a certain drill where they need an extra body. So, you know, I put my hand up. I'm like, yeah, I can still do that.
Beck, might be time for you to put the dress back on.
Definitely not.
Thanks, Beck. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Always a good sport, Beck Bully there. Fantastic to have access to the coaches after half-time in the Suncorp Super Netball, and we thank her once again.
Just talk through a really big win for Remy Carmo under the post here. Got the offensive contact against Shimona Nelson. A big clap of the hands, and the goal to finish is what the Firebirds need.
Yeah, they just can't let this slip away, can they? Bring this back to a 2-goal margin. They cannot let the Magpies creep away.
You absolutely do not want to give a team like the Magpies too much confidence. They're strong all over the court.
It was an 8-goal win earlier in the season, back in round 4. A win for the Magpies. It's been a while, 5 matches, as we've touched on, since the Firebirds last tasted success against Collingwood, so they cannot give them a sniff.
Beautiful work there from Halita Veve. She got that top of the circle position really well, and beautiful feed into Danelle Wallen.
As we touched on, Captain Tonga in that Pacific tournament to the win, and was part of the Firebirds squad in that 2016 premiership winning side.
Absolutely, never gave up on her dream. She's had a couple of kids and found herself back here on the court for the Firebirds. A great and inspirational story.
And playing for the Jets in the Heart Sapphire series. comes into this lineup as Shimona Nelson just having an issue. The Firebirds able to pounce on it, and that may be just the slight opening the home team needed.
Ben, you're right there. Just that intensity from the captain, Kim Ravalian, to put her body on the line and protect that ball.
Veve, good feed to Wallam. Here they come. The Firebirds with the next centre pass, and it's Veve quickly onto Dunkley. Here is Moore.
Beautiful work there from Emily Moore. Found Lara Dunkley on the circle edge, and a step-up layup from Danelle Wallam. Beautiful shooting from her.
A thing of beauty for the Firebirds fans, and we're back to 40 apiece. You can see Lara Dunkley ahead there in the circle feeds. Kelsey Brown in match number 100. You can add another one to the list for Kelsey. She's up to 22.
Two wing attacks there leading the Nissan net points.
And we expected this match to be neck and neck throughout. There's so much riding on it. We're into the second half of the season now. And the Magpies just with 2 wins, the Firebirds with 1. You probably need at least 6, probably 7 wins to make finals. So that means neither side can afford defeat. And we're back level once again, thanks to Danelle Wallam.
Beck Bully identifying the instrumental role that Kelsey Brown plays for this Magpies team, and she's moved the captain Kim Ravalian in that shutdown role. She likes the work she does one-on-one. She doesn't give up many penalties, but still Kelsey Brown finds a way in her 100th match.
Yeah, such a big match for the Magpies. Off the back of those 3 losses, but also Brown in the milestone match, Jodie Ann Ward in match number 50, Dunkley finding Moore, who's feeding Wallam. As you can see, as per usual, big volume differential, and how about that deflection turning into a gain from Bakewell Doran, and you can see why Stacey Marinkovic has put her in the diamond squad, and you can see why Danelle Wallam's there as well.
Huge play from the Queensland Firebirds, a pick-up, a rejection, and then the shot to finish. It's really inspiring for their team. You can feel the intensity lifting on court.
Moore onto Ravalian. Veve, Dunkley. Good take from Moore, low down against the thigh. And the Firebirds, they were behind by 2 at half-time. They're now in front by 2.
Been really impressed by the introduction and the composure of Halita Veve stepping on court and bringing, such a level of calmness you wouldn't expect from a player who hasn't stepped foot on the court for, 5 or 6 years at this level. It's amazing to see her out there.
Her 5th match of National League netball for Halita Veve. And here she is, on to Moore, and Wallam, another layup, and just gets there.
A few words to the umpire there. She wasn't happy with the checking over the ball. Danelle Wallam, great.
Oh, Garvin.
We see another contest from Ruby Bakewell Doran, followed up by her captain, Kim Ravalian.
Tried to fling it back in, and just more desperate, the Firebirds. Dunkley, Moore to Wallam. So it's Newton out there now. A change from Nicole Richardson, and the momentum is with the Firebirds. This is where you expect a HCF tactical timeout from Collingwood. Not coming at this point.
No, just falling over a bit at the centre pass for the Magpies. They've just lost their way. Sophie Garvin's taken the line on the last few centre passes, and it's just not able to connect on that second phase to Kelsey Brown.
Out by 4 now. Almost a game-high lead here for the Firebirds. How quickly things can shift.
That's a settler for the Magpies. Kelsey Brown able to find Shimona Nelson under the post.
Stretching Moore.
Moore playing more minutes than we're used to seeing. Mia Stower still on the bench, so this is a challenge here for Emily Moore.
Big shoes to fill, coming in last minute for Gretel Buetta. final player signed in the 10. Of course, she worked with Beck Bully in the Giants Academy, and she is working beautifully alongside Donnell Wallum as Gretel Buetta watches on.
Absolutely, that's why she's there, Ben. She just lets the ball go, great confidence. As we see a contact penalty at the top of the circle, a bit of a argy-bargy between Kelsey Brown and Kim Ravallion. Tough competitors, those two.
Nelson brings the Magpies back within 3 once again. So this power 5, you sense it's the most crucial of the match so far, as you would expect in this third quarter. It's on the way. Donnell Wallum is able to bring this advantage back out to 4 goals. It's really the first time in the match where we're going to head into the power 5 with a gap of more than 2 goals.
Well, the efficiency from both teams, Ben, has been so good. Both clubs, their centre pass to goal rate conversion is in the 80s. So a terrific efficiency from both teams. It's how long they can keep up that work rate. Which is massive, because Magpies, they're down at 67% on the season average. Firebirds 68%. So what an improvement today, and turnovers as well. You were talking about that at the halftime show, the fact that both of these sides down on where they'd usually be at this point. Magpies, though, just turning over a bit more ball in this third quarter. So here we are. The power 5 is upon us. Firebirds through Wallum. That's how good she is. Again, under pressure against the goal line, and she's able to come up with something special. As we see in the Harvey Norman replay, the athletic ability of Donnell Wallum to pull the ball in, jump and shoot is unbelievable. It's Remy Carmo taking a leaf out of the book of Donnell Wallum, who's pulled that ball in under the post. Well, they call it the moving quarter for a reason, and the Firebirds are going past the Magpies at the moment, who are stuck in the quicksand. We see Jodie Ann Ward in the box there, in the substitution box, ready to come back on court. Well, this is quite staggering. 7 goals they lead this third quarter by, the Firebirds. It was where they collapsed last week against the Vixens. They're dominating this week. Halita Vive has really brought a sense of impactfulness to this Queensland Firebirds team, and intensity. They worked it through their patience to Donnell Wallum, and she rewards them with the shot. And she's thinking, I perform well here. I know I'm only an injury replacement for 6 weeks. That's going to be a lot of this back end of the season, but look at contracts moving forward post this season. What an opportunity for the captain of Tonga, is Sophie Garvin. Didn't get enough on it. Jovic able to get the rebound in the end. And Garvin with another chance to breach this deficit to just 4. It wouldn't drop. And the Firebirds have got it again. And the fans, they're absolutely pumped here at Nissan Arena. They're sensing an opportunity to break this game wide open in the third quarter. Veve finding space again. Hasn't she had a game since coming on at half-time? I've been so impressed with just her composure. You know, for someone who hasn't stepped out on court, it's the speed of the game. Commentators curse. Oh, there it is. Veve's given up the ball there, but, you know, you would expect that from a player stepping on court for the first time. A great touch there from Lara Dunkley, just going offside. So contact and out of play there. And you can see how frustrated she is. So close, she's thinking. So here's that opportunity now. Sliding doors moment for the Magpies. They've got to be good enough to take advantage. Nelson. It'll just be one interesting decision. So they don't have the next centre pass, so it's not going to erode this lead. Only sitting on the 10 goals, the Magpies. So again, that inconsistency in their four-quarter performance coming back to haunt them in this third quarter. Big decision here for the Firebirds. This would be a huge sucker punch if they did go for the super shot. It's not going to happen. Back out to 6. Magpies again. Behind by 6. You can see the Firebirds from the centre pass. Going through the back door there for Ash Brazel, a great centre pass option for the Magpies, having such a strong attacker like Ash Brazel. Garvin finds Nelson under the post to finish for one.
I was just doing a double take on the stats. Gain to goal rate for the Magpies, 0%.
Surely that can't be correct.
Firebirds, 56%. Is that correct?
Well, we know that they're, you know, not. They're on the bottom of the ladder, if you could call it that, for the gains to goal rate. So that won't be an area that will make Nicole Richardson very happy.
Huge concern. And the Firebirds taking advantage. Nicole Richardson, I think she spotted that stat on her iPad there. That's something they're going to have to sort out in the fourth quarter. Right now, though, they've got to find a Suncorp super shot. Nelson knows that. Finds Garvin. Needs this. Desperate for it. Doesn't drain. Nelson goes back to Garvin.
These are the rebound positions that the Firebirds need to be in. Blocking out.
Again cannot drain it. Garvin says to Nelson, just go for the one.
I'd love to see the Firebirds just protect that drop zone, try and force Shimona Nelson out of that area, get up and contest that rebound.
So Garvin sunk her first 2 super shots, 2 from 2, and now she's missed 4 in a row. Here we go, though. This would erase all the doubts right on three-quarter time. Takes a deep breath. Wants to get into a better position. Has only got a few seconds, Garvin. It drains, but she wasn't looking at the clock.
Utter disappointment there from the Magpies. Dropped shoulders as they all looked at each other as they weren't able to secure that super shot.
Wow. Three-quarter time is upon us. The Firebirds lead by 5. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after the break.
Welcome back to Fox Netball. We're at Nissan Arena where, thanks to the Origin Energy three-quarter time break, the Firebirds have a 5-goal lead over the Magpies. And yes, we're here for Pride Match. And yes, we are celebrating the inaugural inclusion round of Suncorp Super Netball. But we have some special milestones to celebrate too. Jodie Ann Ward for the Magpies plays National League match number 50. And Kelsey Brown for the Magpies notches up game 100. And look who has made the trip up from Victoria. It's the Brown mum and dad. Hello, Mark and Chris. Lovely to see you both. It's taken Kelsey 9 seasons to reach game 100. How do you reflect on her journey?
Oh, look, it has been tough, but she has just been a true trooper. And, you know, she's worked so hard to get where she is now. We're very proud of her.
Show me how proud you are. This is a sign, ladies and gentlemen, that the Brown family have put together. Congratulations, Kelsey, on your 100th game. Love, Mum, Dad, Maddie and Tuck. Of course, Maddie Brown, one of our fellow colleagues here on Fox Netball, is in Melbourne sending her love. It's not been easy, but how proud of Kelsey are you?
Oh, look, you know, she's always had to be the battler. She's worked along really, really hard. She's had her ups and her downs, but today is a very, very important milestone and what makes us feel very proud.
Win or loss, I'm sure you're so proud, but if the Magpies get a win, the champagne will taste even sweeter. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna, and thanks to Kelsey Brown's parents. And what a big day it is for her, and she's going to need her side to respond here in this fourth quarter. 5-goal deficit, but the Firebirds, we've seen it before. They are an inexperienced side compared to the Magpies. They've got 6 internationals, the Magpies. They should know how to stand up in the big moments, and they're arriving here with their season on the line here in this fourth quarter. This is a Magpies team who started the season so well. 2 wins in their first 4, and of course one of those defeats was that controversial centre pass drama against the Vixens. It could have been 3 wins in the first 4, and now they've dropped 3 straight. Veve finding Danelle Wallop. Can they make some inroads here, the visitors? Jovic, and here is Brazel. Jovic finding space. Contact called. Jovic. It's slow moving for the Magpies, but Shimona Nelson was able to find herself free.
Opened up beautifully under the post there for Kelsey Brown. Just used her fake, got rid of the body and was able to deliver that ball. You're right, Ben. There is experience all over the court for this Magpies team. Calling there for the held ball. They think they're being hard done by. There are some long 3-second calls in this game.
Wallum. And it remains at 5 goals. Sharon, you heard from Nicole Richardson during that quarter time break. What did she say?
I sure did, Ben. I absolutely love listening to Nicole talk. She's just got such a strategic mind. Some interesting strategies she wants them to try. Oh, almost Camo there. She wants one-on-one, no outlet pass. She wants everyone to do their job and their role. She's basically asking Molly Jovic and Kelsey Brown and also Ash Brazel to do that one-on-one, but as their opponent comes towards them, to change their body angle and allow them to go to the pockets, so Jiva Mentor and Jodie Ann Ward can come out for that intercept. So an interesting strategy.
Thanks, Sharon. And we talk about Nicole Richardson's strategic brain, but the team's got to deliver it on the court, don't they, Kira? And at the moment, they've lost 3 straight and they're behind here. They need to desperately turn this around.
Well, the one shining light for the Collingwood Magpies has been their defence. All year they've been able to turn over balls. We see another game ball here, and the challenge for the Magpies is to release and be able to find, as we see a mistake, this is not able to convert those game balls.
They just cannot. 0% gain to goal rate for the Magpies today. Problematic, to say the least. Veve, Wallum. And Wallum, she's got that confidence and that swagger. And the Firebirds bench appreciating it, but there's still plenty of work to do. Nelson, fed by Brown.
I'd love to see Remy Camo come off the body, sit in front and see if she can have a crack at that ball coming across the top of the circle to Kelsey Brown there. They've gone that way down to circle now, the last 4 centre passes.
Moore, Wallum stretching, and Wallum converting.
Interesting to hear Nicole Richardson talking through Sharon there about her defensive strategy. I'd almost wouldn't want to give up that defensive position that Jiva Mentor has against Wallum to come out and pick up those balls, because they're going to fire it straight under the post to Danelle Wallum. She's a too smart a player.
Brown, and here is Nelson again.
Fantastic.
She's having a wonderful game. 85 Nissa net points, well above her career average, and it's just unfortunate she's got Janelle Fowler in front of her in the Jamaican side. No doubt the air to Janelle's thrown when she does retire. Not saying that's going to happen anytime soon, but
as we see on the Nissa net point match leaders there, that Nelson's pushed her way up to the top.
Brazel and Brown. Good quick ball movement to Nelson. That's what she likes. And it's remaining at a 5-goal margin in this 4th quarter.
As we see Jiva out hedging bets, having a go on the outside of the circle as she goes back to find Danelle Wallum.
Dunkley and Moore. And Wallum up at 98%. Just one miss, 53 from 54.
Great defensive pressure from Ruby Bakewell-Doran. Doesn't get the throw in, but her consistent physical pressure on Sophie Garvin is wearing her down.
And now Wallum. Sneaky there. That got stuck on the arm of Brazel. It was like she had glue on her hand and the ball just wouldn't come free.
She just changed her mind, I think, at the last second of who she wanted to pass to, and therefore Halita Veve picked up that ball. Great awareness by her and a lovely feed into Danelle. Nothing Jiva Mentor can do about that.
And this is the pressure that is being applied to the Magpies. And Veve finds Revaliant, flying to find Dunkley and returning it to the captain. Here is Moore. And now Wallum. This would be a game-high 7 goal lead for the Firebirds. They're rolling towards a victory here.
Lots of argy-bargy on that centre pass line between Garvin and Ruby Bakewell-Dore, and a beautiful feed. I would have thought that was a step for mine, but Shimona Nelson finishes it off with a shot.
Well, don't forget, straight after this one, the Giants taking on the Thunderbirds, and we're going to hear from the Thunderbirds captain, Hannah Petty. She spoke to Eloise Sawyer.
Yeah, I'm standing by with Thunderbirds captain Hannah Petty. Hannah, 3 wins on the trot, brimming with confidence at the moment. Just give us an insight into the mindset amongst the playing group.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be going in without not confidence after 3 wins. We're definitely riding the high, and we hope to continue that tonight. But we know that every match coming up against a new opposition, these are the only team we've lost to this year, apart from the draw. So we're coming out here and we want to get the scalp tonight.
Big match for the Thunderbirds on the road. Let's hear from Nicole Richardson now with the Magpies HCF tactical timeout.
Sit up a fraction higher. Maybe look to play a deliberate bump in, bump out. Yeah. So I reckon just go. First centre pass. Let's set it up where you're allowing the goal attack to cross. Yep. You're just going straight. You're going straight away, and you're bumping in hard to post. See if we can win ball that way.
When we jump the wall, they're receiving the ball on Jodie's side. So Molly and I are wide. Jodie, and then there's a gap. So Jodie's dropping where the centre drops.
The pressure is good, but those little contacts is the release for them, all right? Let's all keep it playing. Let's get this ball. Let's go. Let's go. We got this.
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Ash Brazel talking about Jodie Ann Ward, who has been great this season, but sitting on minus 1.5 Nissan net points today, Kira.
Yeah, look, let's see what happens here. We saw them talk about Jiva Mentor coming out and having a go at this first ball. It's gone back to start, which has given the Queensland Firebirds the safety of the circle edge for this feed.
They need a turnover desperately, and they're not getting it. They're not getting any change out of Danelle Wallam. Brown.
Magpies just look a lot more dangerous with Kelsey Brown taking that centre pass. They've mixed it up a lot this game, but for mine, I think Kelsey Brown delivers that second phase ball a lot deeper in the court.
Veve. And more finding Wallam and the Firebirds. Well, haven't they got a find with their centre, Halita Veve. She has been superb. Turned this match in the second half. Shimona Nelson, great athleticism.
That just snuck through the hands of Remy Carmo. The whole Firebirds bench were out of their seats expecting that intercept, but it just got through.
They've been few and far between today. Carmo and Simpson and Jiva Mentor, the only players with an intercept today.
Smart work from the Firebirds there. Jiva Mentor out hunting. They protected the ball and got it into Wallam.
Jovic again feeding Brown. Deep to Garvin. And that's the route that Kira Tromp was talking about just a moment ago, and it works well there for the Magpies.
Yeah, an adjustment here for the Firebirds. Ruby Bakewell-Dore needs to identify that depth that Sophie Garvin's getting and try and keep her on non-ball side.
Dunkley putting Wallam in a contest with Ward. And there's only one result today.
Lovely timing off the centre pass from Kelsey Brown. She's just got an ability to step over that line in the nick of time.
Ward and Jovic up over the top for Nelson with the skyscraper, and she pulls it down. He's going to get another opportunity. And just dribbles over the top. A little nervy for the Magpies fans. Veve. They were coming for Dunkley. Somehow able to pull it under control. For this Magpies side, staring down the barrel of 4 straight defeats. And Emily Moore gets that beautiful height on the shot. Retains this 7-goal lead. and forces the hand here.
Collingwood Magpies wanting those super shots. For mine, you lose a lot of rebound prowess in the strength of Shimona Nelson under the post. So Sophie Garvin's got a big job to pull in those rebounds against the likes of Remy Camo and Ruby Bakewell-Doran.
Well, it's all or nothing. It is all or nothing for the Magpies.
Kelly Singleton shooting 4 out of 5 super shots last weekend against the Thunderbirds. That's why they've got the confidence in her.
Well, doesn't get it going first time here. 3 in a row to end that match. Needs this. Needs it, Singleton. Gets it. They are going to fight fire with fire here, the Magpies. It's all out. Super shot from the visitors. Let's go to the sideline with Sharon Finnan-White.
Thanks, Ben. Coach Beck Bully wants them to keep up that defensive pressure, force those turnovers. She's really happy that they're staying in play, so they've been quite disciplined in their defensive pressure. She doesn't matter how many passes it takes for them to get it down to score a goal.
So they're going to rain down these super shots from the Magpies.
Given up their height advantage in the circle here, the Magpies. It's a much closer contest between these 4 players in the court, on the court at the moment. As a super shot.
Singleton fed again. It rolls around and out. Well,
huge defensive rebound from the Queensland Firebirds. As we see Kelsey Brown in her 100th game, she's doing everything she can for her Magpies team.
Dunkley, Revaliant, desperate for an intercept, for a turnover here. Revaliant with the fist pump. She knows that's going to take a few more seconds out of it. Firebirds know that the Magpies are going for the super shot, so how do they respond here? Wallum in the 1-point zone. And she's going up, and there is a big play, a huge play from Jodie Ann Ward. She has not got much change out of Wallum all afternoon. And there's an intercept for the Magpies.
On the Harvey Norman replay, we see, Ben, just an unbelievable amount of elevation there from Jodie Ann Ward, and a pick up back to the Firebirds.
Well, another game without a goal at the end of it for the Magpies.
These are the moments that we talked about as the Firebirds find Halita Veve into Donnell Wallen.
So back out to 7. 2.5 minutes for the Magpies, and they're going to have to defend this centre pass. Nissan Arena is rocking. The Firebirds looking for back-to-back home wins for the first time since 2021. And Gretel Buetta is loving watching this. Brown to Jovic.
Out hunting there, Remy Camo. She can see that. Ball coming in.
So Singleton for a super shot. Gets it, draining. Back to 6, the margin. but they're running out of time, the Magpies. They get a turnover here and sink a super shot. All of a sudden it gets interesting, but they're just not doing it at the moment when they gain ball. No goals from gains today, the Magpies. .90 seconds remaining. Moore and Rebellion taking her time to find Dunkley.
Giving up the contact there against her leader, Veve. Just didn't give Ash Brazel room to move.
And now Brazel quickly onto Singleton. They just have to go here, the Magpies. They've got 70 seconds. Singleton, and it's picked up by Veve. And what a second half the captain of Tonga has produced as an injury replacement for the Firebirds. Coming in for the injured Macy Gardner. She's out for 6 weeks with that fractured wrist.
Yeah, hasn't looked out of place, Ben, at all. Halita Veve on court today for the Queensland Firebirds.
And Firebirds fans will be wondering what might have been if they had have hung on last week against the Vixens. Brown and Jovic. Garvin. She's had the yips from the super shot. She gets one late, but it's too little too late for the Collingwood Magpies. The Firebirds just seconds away now from their second win of the season, and they've both been at home in back-to-back matches. Veve, Ward came through the middle, a battle for it on the floor, but it's going to prove inconsequential in the end. Rebellion goes long. Wallam, who else but to finish it off for the Firebirds. And the home side, the Queensland Firebirds, with their second win of the season. And they beat the Magpies for the first time since 2020. 5 straight defeats for the Queenslanders against Collingwood. That's been erased. And their finals hopes, they are well and truly alive. They have caught fire in the middle of the season, and they'll look to go on with it. 73-67, the Queensland Firebirds with back-to-back home wins. And the Collingwood Magpies, you can see heads bowed, devastated. Kelsey Brown loses in match number 100. Jodie Ann Ward defeating her 50th match in the Suncorp Super Netball. And a season which began so brightly for the Magpies with a win against the Swifts, a controversial loss to the Vixens, and a win against the Firebirds. They could have had 3 wins in the first 4. They had 2. Now they've lost 4 on the bounce. And their season, it is really on life support now. If they want to make finals, they are going to have to produce a miracle. But the Firebirds, well and truly alive. 2 wins now in 3. And Beck Bully very pleased with this result. Kira Tromp, this is the match summary, and as you can see, the Firebirds, it was pretty even at half-time, but they just took the game away from the Magpies in the second half.
I think absolutely that just the consistency of the work rate of the Firebirds, low turnover rate, high gains, and their ability to score off their centre passes, outstanding from the Firebirds today.
So the Firebirds, they win it 73-67. And let's get some reaction with Sharon.
Thanks, Ben. I have MVP for today, Emily Moore. Emily, congratulations. This is the first back-to-back win for your team since 2021, so you must be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, we're really happy to get the win today. We knew we'd have to play a full 60 minutes against a side like the Magpies, and just really pleased that we could do it and stay in the game for the full 60 today.
You're showing such mature netball for such a young player. How does it feel to be playing alongside someone like Danelle Wallum?
Oh, it's incredible to run out alongside these girls every week. I pinch myself every time I show up to training or a game because I look at these players who I've watched for years, a lot of them idols as I was younger, and it's just, a real special moment to be able to run out, and the, I guess, inspiration and the calmness that they bring me around the court is really special.
Well, it was a full defensive effort from every player on court, and that's definitely what helped get you the win. No Macy Gardner due to injury, which is real disappointing for your team, but the introduction of Hulita in centre really lifted the team.
Yeah. Look, it's always unfortunate circumstances when someone goes down with an injury, and Macy's had a really, really good pre-season and season so far, so it's a shame, but we're hoping to see her back for a couple of games at the end of this season. But in those circumstances, somebody gets an opportunity to step up, and Halita did exactly that today, so really proud of what she brought.
Just finally, you guys take on the Thunderbirds next week in Adelaide. They're on a bit of a roll at the moment. What are you expecting from them next week?
Yeah, look, every side we come up against is tough, and as you said, Thunderbirds have had a really good season so far, so we know that once again we're going to have to play our best netball for 60 minutes, and we'll have a look at what they've done the last couple of weeks in PA this week and hopefully hit them hard next weekend.
Well, all the best for the rest of the season, and well done on the MVP today.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Well, thanks to Sharon Finnen-White and Emily Moore, the player of the match here at Nissan Arena. And what a result for the Queensland Firebirds. Back-to-back wins at home for the first time since 2021. We will have the post-match analysis right after the break. And do not forget, straight after this one on Fox Netball, the Thunderbirds, the high-flying Thunderbirds, head to Sydney to take on the Giants. A big night of netball right here on Fox Netball.
Welcome back to Fox Netball, where Nissan Arena has just witnessed a critical win in the context of the Firebirds season. Just when fans may have feared the sun was setting on the Queensland Firebirds in season 2023, Beck Bully's side caught fire, and they managed to take a 6-goal win into full time. Scores were locked at 15-all in the first quarter, and we weren't sure which way this game was going to shake out. At full time, though, 73 the way of the home side to 67 of the Collingwood Magpies. Kira Tromp, Sharon Finnen-White, when we think about everything we've just witnessed in the last 60 minutes, what stands out as a highlight, Kira?
One player right there, Halita Veve. I thought she came on court tonight. She stood up. She was very calm and composed. But there were moments during the game where she may have made a mistake. She switched straight back into defence and turned the ball over for her team. A very proud moment for her family and friends.
Yeah, for me it was just a whole team effort. Like, yes, she did come on, and I think she had that real sense of calm. Even though there was a lot of intensity in the game, she looked so calm, so composed. But I think that full court defensive effort really won them the game today.
We were unsure if Veve was going to get any court time. In the end, she really revived the side in the second half. Would you expect then Beck Bully to commit to that lineup, Kira, moving forward?
I think she's really chopped and changed her lineup, Rebecca Bully, across the game. She likes to have a fresh set of legs in the centre position, and I think it works well with the game plan that the Firebirds like to have in their defence. It's a one-on-one, it's really intense, and she expects the work rate to be top level.
Sharon, for the Magpies, it doesn't look good for them for the rest of the season, but we cannot put a red pen through any side because we've spoken about how easy it is for teams to jump up the ladder. These are pretty devastated faces, though. They've come away. They wanted to celebrate a milestone for Kelsey Brown and also Jodie Ann Ward. They take what away from today's game?
Well, I think what they can take away from today's game is that there's certain players at different times of the match that step up and others don't, and I think they just haven't been able to connect and click sort of from, defence end to attack end. There's, we saw Shimona Nelson stand up. Jiva Mental had a great first half, but then sort of went missing in that second half, and Danelle Wallum really stood up and, owned that circle. So I just don't think they've been able to have all 7 players consistently performing well for a whole match.
We saw Nicole Richardson late in that fourth quarter ahead of the power 5 take off Shimona Nelson. In comes Kelly Singleton. Soph Garvin goes back to goal shooter, but it was too little too late in the end, Kira.
Yeah, they're the risks that coaches take, and sometimes they come off and sometimes they don't. I think in this case, Kelly Singleton didn't have the impact that she did last week against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. For mine, the changes throughout the game, I don't believe had the impact that Nicole Richardson was looking for. They weren't able to streamline and they weren't able to combine, as Sharon said, and that really hurt them in the end.
Sharon, the Magpies play the Giants next week. Today was a really important game for the Firebirds and the Magpies. It doesn't get easier next week. The Giants just one spot above the Magpies on the ladder. How important for this Collingwood side to regroup quickly before they play the Giants next week?
Yeah, absolutely. They've only got a week to do so, and we know how formidable a lineup the Giants do have. You know, obviously Giants probably disappointed sitting in the position that they're sitting right now for this time of the year. But as you said, like, every game is crucial for these bottom 4 teams.
Speaking of the ladder, let's take a look, because, ladies, look who's not on the bottom of the ladder anymore. Drum roll, it's the Queensland Firebirds, and fans around Nissan Arena are happy to see that ladder taking shape, Kira.
Yeah, they've stepped up there. They've put their percentage up and given themselves a chance sitting in there. Finally off the bottom of the ladder after 7 rounds in the competition. It must be a weight off the shoulders of the coaching staff and the players just to get themselves back in the groove of winning.
Well, look, it only takes Sunshine Coast Lightning to have a loss next week, and then, you know, potentially anything can happen, as I said.
It's the most exciting season of Suncorp Super Netball that we've ever had, and you don't miss a minute here on Fox Netball. Sharon Fenner-White, Kira Tromp, thanks so much for your time. That's all from us here at Nissan Arena. It's time to head south to Ken Rosewell Arena. Here's Emily Beaton, Kath Cox and Will McCloy.